I miss the old Kanye.
I tell these exact same jokes, and if I was a broke nigga, I'd be considered a perv. But now, cause like I do what I do, and I like follow my dream. I'm kind of successful at it. It's just a beautiful thing. I can say whatever I want. People just look at it like, oh, he's an artist. It's all okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they may say that to your
To my
face.
face. Yeah, I want people to say shit behind my back, man. People talking, man. And then y'all looking at this like, yo, this nigga's an idiot. And that's exactly what I want you to think. So my mission is accomplished.
I miss the old Cardi.
Hold up, who that banging on my door? If a nigga try to rob me, I'ma blow him in the snow. Hold up, don't be blowing up my phone. Sounding like a little hoe about some coke, you fucking hoe. It's Cartier, these diamonds let you niggas know.
I miss the old Drake.
As far as So Far Gone goes, it I'm still in awe, and I'm still humbled again by the amount of people that took the time to download it, listen to it, quote it, put lines in their Twitters and Facebooks and all that stuff. It's something I'm very taken aback by, because I used to be so self-conscious about the strikes against me, like, coming from Canada and being on a TV show and being like, super light skinned, this is some mad, like, this is things you just be like, oh,
now
it's
it's gonna
just,
work.
I see it more as an opportunity to really be like, well, maybe I don't have to be the next Ye, or I don't have to be the next Wayne. I could just be the first Drake, and I think that's something I'm happy about.
These are mainly the three artists I've heard these similar phrases been said about all the time throughout the years. I miss the old insert artist here. But why? Why do large groups of people get hung up on things that used to be? Why can't people understand that artists have to move on from certain sounds and progress as time passes? Why do these phrases become so frequent and commonplace, especially if the artist is still active and putting out good music? Trust me, I too love past versions of these artists. I have so many memories with Kanye, Cardi, and Drake's older music. When I first started listening to hip-hop, Kanye was one of the very first artists I picked up. I always had trouble falling asleep as a kid, so one day I decided I was going to listen to Kanye's whole discography, one album a night, and it helped me go to sleep and stay asleep. I remember when I first started using streaming services to listen to music. The first one I had was a free trial on Google Play Music. I remember adding The College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation to some of the very first albums I had in my library. I'd close my eyes, enjoy the music, and slowly but surely, it calmed me down enough and allowed me to fall and stay asleep. That's my very first Kanye memory, listening to his albums as a 12-year-old that were a decade old already. With Cardi, I got into him sometime after getting into Kanye when I first started trying out SoundCloud. If you know Cardi's history, you know he got his first buzz in SoundCloud with songs like Fetty, The Omen, Don't Tell Nobody, etc. Those were some of the very first Cardi songs I ever heard, and then I heard Magnolia for the first time. It took me a little bit to adjust my ears to Cardi's new sound, but it didn't take long for me to love it. Now, 2017, 2018 Cardi is some of my favorite music ever. The memories I have with his self-titled and Die Lit. The memories. I was having so much fun at the time. That music brings me back to a place where I was happier, where I was carefree. Green grass, flowers blooming, birds chirping, the sun shining. T-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops. After school, hanging out with people I loved. We'd walk and run around the neighborhood with our speaker blasting that same music. We'd rest inside afterwards and lay on the couch and play that same music on the TV. Truly the best time ever. Drake. So Far Gone is my favorite project of his ever. He sounded so raw and unpolished, but I like it. I don't know if Drake has ever sounded as hungry as he did on Say What's Real, for example. It's simple, but it works. Drake completely made that sample his own. It's some of his best writing, best rapping for almost 4 minutes. I know for a fact I don't know any Drake lyrics better than the opening of Say What's Real. Why do I feel so alone? Like everybody passing through the studio is in character as if he acting out a movie role, talking bullshit as if it was for you to know, and I don't have the heart to give these people the cue to go. So they stick around kicking out feedback, and I entertain it as if I need that. I had a talk with my uncle and he agreed that my privacy about the only thing I need back. For some reason, whenever I think of So Far Gone, I think of the winter time. Snow on trees, on top of houses and buildings everywhere, ice cold temperatures, slippery sidewalks, after school bus rides to my basketball games, shivering, walking back home after basketball practice, dark at 4:30 p.m. This is why some of us say things like, I miss the old version of whatever artist. We have specific memories tied to their older music. I think it's beautiful that with one easy click of a button, we can take ourselves back to a more joyous time via a song, an album, a past era of an artist. Why would we adjust our ears to an artist's new music and sound when we can just keep spinning their older work forever? Especially when we have only good memories and feelings associated with that same music. It's all just nostalgia. It can be a tricky thing. One day, maybe reminiscing on past times brings you happiness and joyfulness. You sit and you smile at the better days. But maybe the very next day, it brings you extreme sorrow and discontent. You lay alone wondering where everything went wrong. Wondering, what if things had stayed the same? Why did everything have to change? I know it's kind of a cliche saying at this point, but another thing about nostalgia is that you don't realize the better days when you're actually in them, especially if you're discontent all the time. This is just an example, but maybe you were miserable for year 1 and year 2, but year 3 rolls around and you're even more miserable than before. Naturally, you reminisce on how good year 1 and year 2 were, even though you were sad the entire time. We have this sort of bias looking back at things. We unknowingly block out the bad. You didn't know it at first, but year 1 and year 2 weren't that bad after all. You know though, hindsight is 20/20. Realizing this thing we do can help us get past our attachment to past times. I think naturally as humans, sometimes we get selfish. If we love an artist's sound and music, and we create fond memories attached to that same music, if and when an artist switches it up, we're kinda like, why? I loved your style as it was, why'd you have to change it? Maybe because you're upset at that, you don't allow yourself to really hear the artist out anymore. You kinda just close up your ears as a reaction to the artist changing things. And I think for a little bit, that's okay. Allow yourself to feel that. After all, what the artist does is out of your control. There's nothing you could have possibly done to affect that person's artistic direction. But I also think at some point you have to understand that part of being an artist is growth. You have to evolve, or else you'll get left behind. You can't just do the same thing over and over and over again. If you don't eventually switch things up, you're limiting yourself and what you can do as an artist. You may not realize your full potential. So as fans, we need to be more open and accepting. Pigeonholing our favorite artist to one sound and one sound only can only have negative outcomes. Besides, if you give the artist's new direction a shot, you might find yourself liking or even loving it. Maybe that new sound is what you find yourself making new memories with. The power of nostalgia is strong, so strong to the point where maybe our recollection of our past is exaggerated in a positive way. As humans, we tend to disregard the negative when looking back at things. Along with our favorite artists, we need to move on from the past and grow. It's the only way we can go forward. Allow yourself to smile back on good times, and at the same time, make new memories with things that we love. After all, what choice do we really have? If you like this video, then don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment if you want. I cover film too. If you scroll through my channel, you'll see most of my videos are about movies. So if you like content like this, then I would suggest you stick around. And yeah, that's it. And until next time, I'll see you soon.
All of my own, doing shit solo. You can't come my way. Knowing me, I never like photos. I ain't got time today. Yeah, I pour it up, drinking till I've had enough. Saying I'm so fucked up, but I don't care. Just be good. I told myself what I know, ain't no help me.